Lions TV, this is your post-match analysis video for yesterday's 2-1 win over Cardiff City at the Den. I'm going to apologise in advance for the state of me, for the lack of decent lighting. There's nothing worse than yellow lighting in your background, but I'm making do with what I've got. I am at work. I did travel straight from the game to a hotel so I can go to work today, but I did it with a smile on my face because we got the job done. I don't know how we got the job done, but we did, and I'm going to try and be as positive as possible in this video. Why wouldn't I be? We're 20 points clear of the relegation zone. As always, let's start out by taking a look at the 11 that Gary Rowett picked to get the job done. So, 2 changes were made from the team that lost heavily in midweek against Fulham. Scott Malone come back in and Alex Pearce dropped out, which put Malone back at left wing back, Murray Wallace back into centre back, and Mason Bennett dropped out in favour of Jed Wallace. Harsh on Bennett, and I feel he really made a difference when he come on, but Jed did need to come back into the team. Would it have been better off putting Burke out the side, but clearly lacking in match fitness, although I do expect him to get stronger and better as the tail end of the season comes to an end. So, that was the team we went with, and we won the game, and people were moaning regardless. The team were booed off at half-time. The crowds are clearly down, and on top of that, I won't get any likes in the fucking comments for this, but I've got to be straight, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. Our crowd at the minute, the atmosphere at the Den is non-existent. It is terrible. I'm not blaming the fans for that, but it is what it is, and that's just the truth. The atmosphere at the Den has not been good for a long, long time. I saw someone on social media say something like, bringing a family member to their first game, they're from up north, can't wait to show them a proper atmosphere, and I thought, that's not happening. It did get going in the second half, but yeah, I've got to be honest, I think it's a reflection around the club, and it just feels that, I don't know, is it a bit null and void now? You know, the season is coming to an end. We're not going up, we're not going down, and for that you have to give Gary Rowett praise in difficult circumstances. And as I said, I'm not going to be negative in this video, but I will say this, the first half was absolutely terrible. On the flip side of that, if you look at stats, for the first time in a long time in a game, we dominated possession, and for us, you know, it wasn't fantastic, but again, a massive club like Cardiff, and they are a massive club, been around the Premier League, they got players in the transfer window that we can't afford to get, structure and budget-wise, you know, and they come into the game on the back of 3 straight league wins, 4 in a week they put past Peterborough, and I expected a lot more from them. So if we're unhappy as a fan base, I was looking at the league table last night, below us, Derby County, you've got, as I said, Cardiff, who we played yesterday, Hull City, big teams that have been in and around the Premier League very, very recently. So do we expect too much? Well, look, as I said, the first half was shocking, okay? There's no getting away from it. We did have the better of things, though. And again, yesterday, Bolkowski's hardly had a save to make. The one good chance we did get was when Ollie Burke broke the lines, didn't he? Good ball from Scott Malone. And Alex Smithies, the Cardiff keeper, spreads himself well. He did everything right, really. Just tried to lift it over, and it just sort of caught his mid-drift and flipped up in the air. Jed Wallace misses the rebound. Other than that, we was getting into good areas, but we're reluctant to put that final ball in. And it does seem there's like a lack of attacking ideas. We don't move the ball quick enough. Although after we scored, we did, and I'll get into that when we get into it in the second half. But yeah, you know, we had possession. We knock it around the back, but it's just that final third, isn't it? That final burst of pace, or that exciting idea, or that final run or delivery to the person that's made that run. It just doesn't really seem to happen. And as I said, as a result, the team were booed off at half time. And I never booed. We've been through this before, but I can understand why. However, credit to Gary Rowett. Maybe we are an impatient bunch of fuckers. I was going to say maybe we are an impatient bunch of fuckers. We clearly are. Do we demand too much? Well, I've just been through that. Let me know in the comments below. But look, we demand the best. We demand a team that's going to go out there and give the team, the fans, something to shout about, and you know, give us a team to be proud of. So that's all we want. And I think if we didn't have that edge, if we didn't keep on people's bollocks, then our levels may drop. You know, I used to work for my old man as a roofer, and he was on my bollocks for years, and it was a terrible atmosphere at home because of it. And then a few weeks ago, he went, "Oh, he was really good at roofing." I said, "What? You fucking terrorised me for 15 years. And he went, "Yeah, but that's just to keep you on your toes." So a little bit of a shit innuendo, a little bit of a glimpse into my personal life. But maybe that's, you know, maybe it's a good thing we do keep on the manager and the players' bollocks, and Rout would have known the task at hand, having been to the Den before as an opposition manager, as most of the players would have been playing for other teams. It is a difficult place to ply your trade, that is with absolutely out of doubt. But credit to Rout, as I said, half-time, does he know something we don't? If he thinks we get to half-time and in the second half we can push on and win the game, we've done it again now against West Brom and against Cardiff in recent weeks, two big clubs. I will say this as well. Teams come to the Den, I said Cardiff on the back of 3 straight league wins and scoring a lot of goals. West Brom up the top end of the table. Preston weren't doing too bad when they come in midweek the other week. Teams like that showing us too much respect because they're sitting back and they're not really, if they apply themselves, they might get something right at the game. They just all seem to come and want to sit for a point. Maybe that's because they know we struggle to break teams down. I don't know. But look, getting into the second half, it just got going a bit in the second half. Even before the game got going, the sort of atmosphere pitched up. Cardiff fans started to get involved. Our fans were getting involved. And you could just sense that something was building. And eventually, when it did come, it was, again, through good work from Gary Rowett. Substitutions. Now, I've said this before, and I say it again. Luke Freeman not on the bench. I don't know why we signed him. But again, maybe Rowett knows something I don't. We didn't actually have a striker yesterday, did we? Jed Wallace played in central, in the hole. So he was almost like a false 9. Afobe was left, and Burke was right. So we didn't really have any attackers. But what we did have was options on the bench. And we have been unlucky in that respect. Jed just returned. Mason Bennett there, good option to have. Conor Mahoney in the wilderness, he's never going to play. So I don't know why I said that one. But I do want to cover that in a minute in a minor criticism towards Rout. Well, more than a minor criticism, but we'll get onto that in a minute. But as I said, you've got Burke just coming into the team, just fit. You've also got other players there available on the bench. George Saville back after injury. So it is nice to have those options on the bench. And it was through the substitutions that we got the job done. The first goal, look, as I said, in the first half, our deliveries weren't great. Scott Malone had literally just taken a corner with a terrible delivery, and he gets another bite of the cherry. For me, it's another bad delivery. For me, if I'm going to be in a box next season, I need to be in a box a little bit closer to the cold blow lane, because I said Murray Wallace has headed in from 2 yards, and he was a long way out, Murray Wallace. It's not a good corner from Scott Malone. It's atrocious defending from Cardiff. I don't know how it's missed everyone and made its way to Murray Wallace, who was, in fact, level with a penalty spot. And he just, big, powerful, composed as well, and heads it home. We've seen him score so many important goals for us, and that was another one for the Man Mountain to chalk up, who, by the way, was my man of the match yesterday, and he must have won about 25 headers yesterday, defensively. I know he isn't always great, going forward, and he sometimes knocks the ball off the pitch or, a mislaid pass, but defending, effort, tenaciousness, desire, you can't knock any of that. And as I said, he gets up the right end of the pitch and puts us 1-0 up. I don't know what the keeper was doing, because it's a powder puff header, really, and it's gone directly in the middle of the goal, and their keeper's dived full length, and it's gone in somehow. So obviously his positioning was all at sea, but we won't complain about that. Let me tell you one thing I've forgotten about, which Cardiff will be complaining about, was the penalty that they absolutely should have had. Jake Cooper, it's a weird one, because when you throw your body, when I always say throw your body on the line, I love all that. He's dived like that and thrown his body on the line, but you usually do that when you're in very close proximity to the striker or to the person shooting. He's given that one, Cooper, from about 10 metres away. So I don't know why he threw his body on the line, and I don't know why Cardiff didn't get a penalty, because they should have had absolutely nailed on Stonewall penalty, but it wasn't given. And for once, a little bit of balance returns and we get a decision which we shouldn't get from the referee. And as I said, then we're 1-0 up, and you just get a sense of things are going well. And when I say we don't move quick enough, we don't look confident, the players don't look excitable on the pitch. I'm always trying to think of new terms to deliver what I'm thinking. It's just, Pete Omar always says lacklustre. Just seems like, fucking at work sort of thing. Like they're not buzzing to be there. I'm at work today. I can't wait to get there, because it's what I love to do. And some of the players sometimes just don't really, But when we did score, at one point, Bart Balcassi got the ball, quickly whipped out to Jed. Jed knocked it into Bennett. Bennett on the volley lays Jed back in, and Jed flies down. And we're at the other end of the pitch within less than 10 seconds. And at that point, we looked excited. We looked like we had intent. Looked like we really wanted to be there and get things going and get the crowd going and want to really impose ourselves on a football match. And then we get the second. I'm fucking around in the comments with just being a dickhead, really, on the live stream. Thanks again if you did tune in. But I actually missed the build-up to the second goal. George Saville running beyond in the box, gets a little bit of luck, slips over, right foot, cross, goes up in the air, and Mason Bennett stretching, ball behind him, can't. He's got to be really careful with the angle of his head because he's got to sort of keep it in line with his head. His weight could have quite easily took him back and it could have gone behind a cold blow lane, but it doesn't. He heads home and we are 2-0 up. And at that point, silly bollocks me, I've been supporting Millwall for fucking 36, 7 years. That's it, it's job done. We know it's never job done with Millwall. Cardiff did come back into the game and they did get a late consolation, but we deserved the win. We did deserve the win against us. We're all moaning, myself included. Look at these clubs. The structure of these clubs have all been in the Premier League, all had parachute payments, all got multi-million pounds worth of talent and players on wages that we don't even pay in transfer fees. So, you know, we did see the game out and I was pleased with it. And I'm going to say this, I'm not moaning anymore this season, right? I can take 45 minutes of shit if we get a second half / half an hour that we got at the back end of yesterday's game. I can live with that. And as I said, we're 20 points clear of the relegation zone. I still would like to see Gary Rowett walk away with his head held high at the end of the season. And I've seen, by the way, I've got the text message. I got it about 15 times into my Instagram DMs and WhatsApp groups. And I'm sure you've all seen it. Kavanagh and Rowett have had a massive row because Rowett applied for the Sunderland and applied for another job. I'll be honest with you, I don't like either of them. Can't stand either of them. But I don't think that's true. I just think that's people trying to stir the pot. Rowett's here to do a job, and I think he'll see that to the end of the season. I also think that by the time the two jobs, I think it's West Brom was the other one, and Sunderland come about, I think the transfer window was already closed. So people were saying, that's why he's not giving Rowett any money to spend. But yeah, look, I'm just going to put that, for me, no, I'm not having that. And I'm not starting any rumours because I had that message literally 35 times. So I don't think that's the case. But as I said, I still would like to see him leave the club at the end of the season. With his head held high, yes. It's just some strange decisions that really get me. Not just the lack of intent going forward. Although, again, we won 2-1 yesterday. What more can you say? You can't argue with it. But problems for me yesterday. Firstly, Benicofo does limp out of the game, and it was rumours he was injured before this game or before Fulham, and he definitely limped off. We all saw it happen with 10, 15 minutes to go. We now don't have a striker at the club. We didn't call Isaac Alafe for Sutton. Okay, he wasn't in the Sutton match they scored yesterday, potentially probably injured. But we've not got a striker at the club. And I know we're going to be safe. As I said, 20 points clear of the relegation zone. But it's just strange. Isn't it strange that as a professional football club, we don't have a first-team striker? Instead we're winging it. We've got wingers galore. It's very, very strange. And yesterday as well, okay, I'll give it to Rowett. Yesterday, Peterborough lost. We won, which got us further away from them. They're the team in the last relegation spot as it stands. We're 20 points clear of them. Please, on Tuesday against Queen's Park Rangers, don't put Conor Mahoney on the bench. As much as I love the man, he's not got a future at the club. Don't put Alex Pearce on the bench. As much as I love the man, he hasn't got a future at the club. Why isn't Hayden Muller on the bench? Why isn't Nana Boateng on the bench? And I'm not saying they're going to come on and set the world alight. I'm not even saying they're going to come on. But fuck me, surely now you've got to be looking ahead. What benefit is it now to have Pearce on the bench, to have Mahoney on the bench? Start Bury in a few games. I like the idea of Bury. He's got a lot to learn of final ball-wise, but he's looked exciting when he's coming on. Why is he not coming on? Why is George Evans coming on instead? We've got to be looking now for next season. If Rowett has an intent of being here next season, then I think that's got to be in his plans because we don't have a big budget and we're not going to sign a lot of players. And we're going to need a fucking lot of players, by the way, at the end of this season because a lot are on loan, a lot are out of contract, and it's going to be a major rebuild for a team that hasn't got a lot of money. So, yeah, get these youngsters in there. 20 points clear, I'll say it again, of the relegation zone. And we're not going to make the playoffs. Well, we could. No, we're not going to make the playoffs. Come on, let's be serious here. So, it's a perfect opportunity to start getting these youngsters involved and looking with an idea towards next season. If he's going to be here next season, as I said, I hope he's not, but I'm not going to be negative anymore. And yesterday, I actually found it frustrating, as negative as I can be, that, and no, I love the boys who send the videos in. All three of them are negative. And I can understand why. But at the end of the day, we won the game by 2-1. You scored 2 goals in a game. Look, half an hour's excitement, that's all I want, and that's what I got. You can't win every game. Every game can't be exciting. You can't always score goals. But we needed that yesterday, and as I said, fair play to Rowett. Got the job done without a striker. And the 2 strikers that we wanted both went to Cardiff, and they was horrendous. Well, Wick Piazza, when he come on, wasn't so bad, but Jordan Hugo missing a header from 3 yards, unchallenged. Don't know how that happened. But look, definitely positives to take. It's never ever going to change under Rowett. If we give him another 3 years, we'll still be saying what we're saying now in 3 years, because he's a stabiliser. He's a stopgap. He's a reactive manager. We're not going to be 3 years in the Premier League under Gary Rowett. We will be exactly where we are now, 15th, but without the excitement, without the occasional cup run, which isn't for me. But there you go, listen, no more negativity. Gary Rowett, well done. 3 points yesterday with no strikers. And also, what was the other thing I was going to say? 3 points with no strikers. I forgot what the other thing I was going to say. Oh, yeah, 20 points for safety. And everyone's a winner. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know how I'm going to manage that one for a preview, because we're at home against Queen's Park Rangers on Tuesday. That'll be a difficult test. They're looking to bounce back after a 1-0 defeat on the road against Barnsley yesterday. And I'll be live streaming as per usual. And I'll see you at the Den if you are going. Please subscribe to Lions TV. I've got to go work. Come on, you Lions.